And here comes the field for tonight's first race as Kathy Hawk, our parade marshal and outrider, brings him out onto the track for the opener, number 1, A League of His Own, owned by Linda Brown and Richard Lee Mabra, and the driver is Justin Hall. 2, KG's Gravitate, owned by Tom Lovely, driven by Tom Lovely. 3 is Sharp Joe, owned by Vicki Lynn Fisher, and the rangeman is Jeff Daly. 4, Sports View, owned by Larry Fullen, driver changed to Jeff Fout. 5, High Buck, owned by Clarence DeLong. Dave Hawk will be in the bike. 6, Good Allegris, owned by Stephen Watkins, rangeman Bob Harper. 7, Fritzy Dundee, owned and driven by Larry Roberts. Number 8, Around Town, owned by Russell Dalton. David Miller will be in the sulky. There is 5 minutes till post time. It's post time. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Sports View, Sharp Joe, KG's Gravitate all out for the lead. Far outside, Hay Buck in the 4th, A League of His Own driving 5th. Up on the outside, Good Allegris, Fritzy Dundee, and Around Town as Sports View takes him around the top turn. Sports View by 2. Sharp Joe a tight second, followed by the 2 in their third. KG's Gravitate going to be a long mile for High Buck as they open up here by the opening quarter, a solid 28 2/5. In parade, racing past the stands, Jeff Fout has Sports View wound up tonight. He strides clear by 2. Sharp Joe, the odds-on favorite, the Golden Journey in second. A joint third and fourth, KG's Gravitate and High Buck. Good Allegris is now being sent up on the outside by Bob Harper along the rail, A League of His Own. Fritzy Dundee and Around Town, the tailgate. They're at the half-mile pole. Sports View and Sharp Joe, the top two, 58 and 1 up the backstretch. Still in command, he's been there just about every step of the way, Sports View. Here comes Sharp Joe flipping the pocket. Back on the attack, KG. High Buck is in the center. Good Allegris 3 deep on the far outside. A League of His Own is now saving ground along the rail. After that, Fritzy Around Town. Sports View by a length. From the outside, Sharp Joe losing just a bit of ground in 120. Moving around the far turn, Sports View trying to last. Sharp Joe on the outside making little headway. KG's Gravitate up on the outside. High Buck as the field straightens away. Good Allegris 5th. Can Sharp Joe wear down the pace setter? Sharp Joe gets the lead and is home free. It's Sharp Joe going to be tight for second. KG's Gravitate. Good Allegris up third. By Look Sharp out of Mary Skipper. Owned in Clarksville by Vicki Fisher. Trained by Tim Fisher. Hard driven by Jeff Daly. Covering the mound 158, number 3, Sharp Joe, the winner. 3-2 exacta 1960 in the try, 165.40. Second race, Dave Hawk driving 7, Dart and Sam. Post time in 12 minutes at 7:52. 12 minutes till post. Here comes the field for tonight's second race. Number 1, Stowbridge Hanover, owned by Jones and Hunwick Farm, and the driver is Chip Noble. 2, Sambiguous, owned by Herb Thompson and Tim Carsey with Bob Harper. 3, Rocky Raccoon, owned by David Franklin with Jim Daly. 4, Alamette, owned by Kevin Lineberger. Randy Tharps will be aboard. Here comes the 5, Expensive Dude, owned by Francis and Milton Schloss with Jeff Fout in the bike. 6, Carlos Finale, owned by Hall Investment with David Myers. 7, Dart and Sam, owned by Dean Davis and James Snyder, with a driver change to Dave Hawk. Number 8 is Snakefoot, owned and driven by Mark Evers. 9, Blue Rock Jack, owned by Catherine Ross. Debbie Rucker will be in the sulky. There is 6 minutes. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Stowbridge Hanover takes the lead. Expensive Dude rallies quickly between horses. Took him a long while to catch the gate, but he rolls right to command. And we'll see how much that taxed them there going to the quarter. From the outside, Expensive Dude gets the lead. Carlos Finale leads tonight on the outside and is up to challenge. The other 2-year-old is in there third. He's Stowbridge Hanover, followed by Dart and Sam. Midway on the turn, Sambiguous. I think he's fifth, but I'm not quite sure. As they move by the opening quarter here in 28 1/5. Racing past the stands, Carlos Finale goes on to get the lead. Carlos Finale on top by a length and a half. Expensive Dude is in the second, followed by Stowbridge Hanover third. Dart and Sam is fourth. Sambiguous, yes, he is fifth. After that, Snakefoot from the back of the pack. Blue Rock Jake. Next in line as they come around the turn, it's Rocky Raccoon up on the outside. Alamet. They're at the half-mile pole. Up top, it's Carlos Finale by an easy length and a half. Expensive Dude stalking in second here. Snakefoot leading the parade on the outside from third. Blue Rock Jack has live cover. Stowbridge Hanover got shuffled back to fifth. Dart and Sam up on the outside. Alamet. Sambiguous in the trailer is Rocky Raccoon. 59 2, they head to three quarters. Carlos Finale is there, 3 parts of a length. Snakefoot rallies on the outside second. Fighting back the pocket sitter, Expensive Dude. Ranging up on the outside, Snakefoot, as they move by 3 quarters in 1:29. Driving around the far turn. Carlos Finale leads the way. Expensive Dude is in the second. Stowbridge Hanover fighting back in the third as the field straightens away. The older guy brings them on home. It's Carlos Finale drawing clear by 2. Expensive Dude is in the second. Stowbridge Hanover's up on the far outside. It's Carlos Finale, Stowbridge Hanover, and Expensive Dude third. Is now official. Here comes the winner of tonight's second race, number 6, Carlos Finale. 4-year-old base son of Nuclear Siren out of Carla Elmerhurst, owned in Logan by Hull Investment Company. Trained by Dick Brandt, driven coast to coast here by David Myers to cover the mile here in 1:57 2. Take a lifetime best, 6, Carlos Finale, the winner. The 6-1 exacta, $24 even. The try, $63.60. Windows are now up and on the third. David Miller driving 3, Lady Storm. Post time at 8:09. Number 1, Mayoka, owned by Bob Griffith, driven by Sandy Beatty. 2, Kansas Queen, owned by Ken Bailey, and the driver is Dave Hawk. 3, Lady Storm, owned by Randy White, and a driver change to David Miller. 4, Kankakee, owned by Roy Sweeney, and the driver is Michael Hogan Jr. 5, Towner's Tootsie, owned by Jeff Gibson, Greg Luther. 6, Noble DJ, owned by Chad Folk with Rick Dingledine. 7, Elegant Elgin, owned by driver Ralph Lunsford and Deborah Cooper. Number 8 is Party Pam, owned by Troy Brown, driven by Justin Hall. 9 is Canvasback Jet, owned by W. O'Near, Gary Dill, and Donald Beatty. Dean Gillespie is in the sulky. 6 minutes till. And there they go. They're off and pacing. 9, Canvasback Jet was off stride at the start, far back. There goes Lady Storm to take the lead. Mayoka along the rail. Kansas Queen is up on the outside. Fought out by Kankakee, Towner's Tootsie, Noble DJ, Elegant Elgin, Party Pam, and Canvasback Jet is far back as this field of 9 circles to the opening quarter. Lady Storm on the front end for the purple and white leads away by an easy length and a half. Mayoka's in there second, Kankakee, Towner's Tootsie, Noble DJ, Elegant Elgin, Party Pam, and the trailer is Canvasback Jet. South opening panel, 28 3/5. No change past the stands up top. Lady Storm continues to lead the way. Myoka is second. With a rush on the outside, Towner's Tootsie and Noble DJ. Kansas Queen got stuck in there fifth. After that, Kankakee in sixth. Starting up on the outside, Elegant Elgin seventh. Party Pam is eighth. Canvasback Jet is ninth. 8R Hub to Hub at the half-mile pole in a minute and 2/5. Second quarter breather there for the even money favorite, Lady Storm. She still has command by a length. Here's Towner's Tootsie up on the outside second. Pretty good trip for the six, Rick Dingledine and Noble DJ along the rail, Myoka. After that, Kansas Queen in fifth. Elegant Elgin is up on the outside. Kankakee, Party, Pam, and Canvasback Jet. Side by side and stride for stride as they race into three quarters. Lady Storm and Towner's Tootsie, 2 more lengths on the outside. Noble DJ off of between horses. Kansas Queen and Myoka fading back along the rail to fifth. 3 quarters clicked off in 1:30. 8 are alive in the drive as they come on home. Nearest the rail, Lady Storm. Towner's Tootsie in the center. Noble DJ with a rush on the far outside. Myoka is fighting back. They're all in pursuit of Lady Storm. Noble DJ, Lady Storm, Noble DJ, Myoka, and Towner's Tootsie fourth. Lady Storm is a chestnut 8-year-old mare by the great Niatros out of Red Nan. Owned in Randy White in West Carrollton, trained by Paul Huffman, driven coast to coast by the purple and white of David Miller. We cover the mile here in 1:59 and 4-3. Lady Storm, the winner. Exacta $19.60 in the Super 537 even. Windows are now open on tonight's fourth race. Fourth race, scratch 6. He's a Modocken. Chip Noble will drive 8. Tombalabamba. Post time in 12 minutes at 8:27. Here comes the field for tonight's fourth race as they parade, welcoming the AASR Valley of Columbus group. Number 1 is the Club on the Handle, owned by Bill Carruthers, and the driver is Mike Wilder. 2, JL Dusty O, owned by Clarence DeLong with Dave Hawk. 3 is Dazzler Nuke, leased by David Setzer. The driver is Elliot Deaton. Number 4, Rick and Dick, owned by Rhonda Stidham and Linda May. Rocky Stidham will be aboard. 5 is Lookin' Tough, owned by S&R Crow Corp with David Miller in the bike. 6 has been scratched. 7 is Rob Report, owned by Jake Shaw with Randy Tharps. Number 8, Tombalabamba, owned by Anthony Giuliani. The driver changed to Chip Noble. 9, Max Pett, owned by Rebecca Barker. Brett Miller will be in the sulky. Less than 6 minutes till post time. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. The Club on the Handle takes the lead. Rob Report with a rush on the outside. Dazzler Nuke between horses. They're down the backstretch. Followed out by JL Dusty O, Rick and Dick, Max Pett parked and driving on the outside. Looking Tough along the rail and Tombalabamba. As they move to the quarter-mile pole, Rob Report on the outside gets the lead. Rob Report on top by 2. Tucked in there second. Dazzler Nuke and a quickie, 27 and 4. Speeding past the stands to the half-mile pole. Rob Report for Randy Tharps out there by an easy length and a half. He's going to get a second quarter breather in here. Rob Report on top. Dazzler Nuke is second. Long Mile Max Pett third. The Club on the Handle fourth. Here's Lookin' Tough moving up on the outside. JL Dusty O, Rick and Dick, and Tombalabamba. They're at the half-mile pole. Rob Report continues to lead the way. They're at the half in 58 and 4. They're out of the turn and down the backstretch. Rob Report, well in hand, leads easily. Dazzler Nuke in second. Max Pett, the big mile, third. Club on the Handle, fourth. Lookin' Tough still on the outside, fifth. Off the 5/8, JL Dustio, Tambalabamba from the back of the pack, and Rick and Dick. Up top, though, Rob Report by about 2.5. Dazzler Nuke second. Max Pet still holding on gamely. Racing by 3/4 in a quick 1:28.1. Moving around the far turn, Rob Report still in command. Dazzler Nuke, Max Pet is up on the outside toward the rail of the club on the handle. As the field straightens away, Randy Tharps draws the sword. Rob Report brings him on home. Dazzler Nuke, the club on the handle, closing quickly on the rail. From the outside, it's Dazzler Nuke and the club on the handle. Dazzler Nuke coming on. Here comes Dazzler Nuke, 6-year-old bay gelding by Nuke's Image out of Bedazzle. Leased and trained in Middletown by David Stetzer. Given a well-judged ride by Elliott Deaton to cover the mile here in 1:57.2. 3, Dazzler Nuke, the winner of tonight's 4th race. Trophy being presented by our group from AASR Valley of Columbus. 3-1 exacta returning $121 even. Windows are now up and on the 5th. 13 till post, and Jim Daly driving 6 over come over. Scratch number 8, JRB, 3,000 plus in the carryover. Post time a las 8:45. Post time is 8:45. Here comes the field for tonight's 5th race. Trophy being presented by TJ's Country Restaurant. Number 1, Proud Son, owned and driven by Glenn Hall. 2, Kick a Little, owned by Mel Delagrange with Sandy Beatty. Number 3, Over's Technique, owned by Willard Miller and Alan Besco, driven by Willard Miller. 4, Bradish Sport, owned by B.L. Conway, and the driver is Mark Evers. Number 5, Miss Julia, owned by Roger Bartley and Roger Jr. with Chip Noble in the bike. 6, Over Come Over, owned by Richard Snyder, and a driver change to Jim Daly. 7 is Signed Original, owned by Carol Christ with David Miller. Number 8, JRB, has been scratched. Judges. 9, Wild Ridge Road, owned by Chester Ott with Tom Brinkerhoff. And number 10 is Clark's Goal, owned by Keith and Donna Ross. Bob Harper will be in the sulky. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and trotting. The 7, Signed Original, is off stride at the start. Moving for the lead, Bradish Sport with Over's Technique along the rail. Rushing up on the outside, Miss Julia is in the 3rd with Proud Son in along the rail 4th. From out of the 2nd tier, Clark's Goal is 5th. Racing 6, Kick a Little. After that, Over Come Over, followed by Wild Ridge Road, and Signed Original is the trailer. Pretty good tussle here. 4 are already double-deckered, a quick 28 3/5. Trotters in parade, racing past the stands from the outside. Bradish Sport goes on to get the lead. Over's Technique in 2nd. Miss Julia's up on the outside 3rd, followed by Proud Son in 4th. Clark's Goal 5th, Kick a Little 6th, racing 7th, Over Come Over. The 3-year-old Wild Ridge Road, and at the end it's Signed Original. Around the paddock turn, there are 3 horses across the track vying for command. Bradish Sport between horses, Miss Julia up on the outside, Proud Son, they're flying in 59 seconds flat, speeding down the backstretch. Bradish Sport leads away by a head. Miss Julia between horses. Proud Son is up on the far outside. At the back of the pack, Signed Original is off stride again as they trot into 3/4. Miss Julia forges to the front, followed by Proud Son 3 deep in 2nd. Along the rail, Bradish Sport fighting back gamely 3rd. Clark's Goal in tight quarters 4th. Up on the far outside, Kick a Little 5th. Over's Technique, Wild Ridge Road might be best if he can get through some heavy traffic. Over Come Over is up on the far outside at 1:29 3. They fan out 8 wide in the drive to the wire on the far outside. Clark's Goal, Wild Ridge Road still looking for racing room. Kick a Little closing on the far outside. Clark's Goal gets the lead. It's Clark's Goal, Kick a Little, Wild Ridge Road 3rd. Here's Bobby Harper in 10, Clark's Gold. 5-year-old bay gelding by Armbro Goal. Out of Trish's Score, owned in Bell Fountain by Keith and Donna Ross, trained by Dan McCulloch. Given a well-judged drive by Bob Harper to trot the mile in 2 minutes and 2/5. 10 Clark's Goal, winner of tonight's TJ's Country Restaurant Trot. 10 to exact the 123.80, 123.80. Twin try, $1,029.20. Windows open on the 6th. David Myers driving 1, Cam's last. Cam's last, owned by Bill White's White Creek Stable, driven by David Myers. 2 is Lovely Jade, owned by the Emerald Highlands Farm, and the driver is Del S. Miller. 3 is Truly Tess, owned by Richard Brake with Jim Daly. 4, Beach of Roses, owned by Walter Kroll and Rex Davis, and the driver is David Miller. 5, Scootin' Cloud, owned by Dennis Ritz with Ryan Holton in the bike. 6, Jay's Heaven Sent, owned by Hard J Racing Stable and Dan Ader. 7, Aquatic Yankee, owned by Harold Bowder, and Michael Dixon with Chip Noble. 8 is Kathy Q, owned by Alan Quinn, Malcolm Steen, Jeff Fout, and Morris Korn with Jeff Fout. 9, Manifest, owned by ACA Stable with Mark Winters. 10, My Julie, owned by John Schultz, Kenneth Fishbaugh, and Ira Christel with Bob Harper. And her field mate is 11L, owned by Michael Graney. Bill Walters will be in the sulky. There is 6 minutes till post time. David Myers driving the 1. Now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Jay's Heaven Sent takes the lead. Kathy Q with a rush on the far outside. Toward the rail, Beach of Roses into 3rd. Aquatic Yankee driving wide and hard on the outside to 4th. Scootin' Cloud moves in to be 5th. Cam's last away, 6th. Racing 7th. Lovely Jate. Followed by My Julia, midway on the turn L. After that comes Truly Tess and the trailer Manifest. Field of 11 by the opening quarter, solid 28 1/5. In parade, moving to the half-mile pole, taking over to the top spot, Aquatic Yankee. Aquatic Yankee leads the way. Kathy Q, the stalker, 2nd. Jay's Heaven Sent 3rd. Beach of Roses in there 4th. Scootin' Cloud is next. Moving up on the outside, My Julia from mid-pack. Out from between horses, Cam's last. Saving ground every step, Lovely Jate. Moving up on the outside, L. Gap of 2 lengths as they hit the half-mile pole. Truly Tess and Manifest. 58 3. Aquatic Yankee going right along. Aquatic Yankee still in command by an easy length and a half. Kathy Q skimming the pylons in 2nd. Jay's Heaven Sent and Beach of Roses up on the outside. Coming on My Julia into 5th. Nearest the rail, Scootin' Cloud. Cam's last between horses. Manifest on the far outside, followed by L. Along the rail, Lovely Jade is 10th. Truly Test 11th on the outside. 129 3. Field moves midway on the turn. The favorites are 1-2. Aquatic Yankee along the rail. Right alongside Beach of Roses. These 2 girls are synchronized inside the final 16th, but Chip Noble has just put a whip away. It's still Aquatic Yankee, Beach of Roses, Aquatic Yankee coast to coast. They're now 3 in a row, unbeaten here at Scioto Downs. Aquatic Yankee, a 2-year-old bay filly by Cam Best out of Yankee Attraction, owned bred in Maryland by the Yankee Land Farms. Now owned by Harold Lee, Harold Bowder, and Michael Dixon, trained by Darrell Whitaker. Confident drive tonight by Chip Noble to cover the mile here in 158 1. Take a lifetime best 7, Aquatic Yankee, the winner. Here comes the field for tonight's 7th race, Twin Trifecta Exchange. Number 1 is Millcap, owned by the Bartleys, Roger and Roger Jr. Chip Noble drives. 2 is Jersey Breeze, owned by Charles Autry with a driver change to Elliott Deaton. 3, Mountain Elvin, back home with Rhonda and Troy Stidham and Rocky Stidham. 4, Freight Damage, owned by Carl Seymour. Dan Ader will be aboard. Number 5, One Step at a Time, leased by Steve Hodge. In the bike now, Randy Tharps. 6, Bonjour, owned by Dana Kruger, John Schultz, and Ed Green with Bob Harper. 7 is Dancing Tricks, owned by Brent Davis with Dave Hawk. 8, Clearwater Chip, owner Cheryl Street, driver David Miller. And number 9 is Key to Our Dreams, and he has been scratched. 6 minutes till post time. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing with a rush on the far outside. Bonjour takes the lead. Freight Damage, Mountain Elvin on the rail up on the outside. One Step at a Time. Millcap is in the 5th. From between horses, Jersey Breeze, Dancing Trick, and Clearwater Chip. And these guys have their head down right now, and they're going to sizzle this opening quarter. Freight Damage is out on top. Bonjour has to take a seat in 27 seconds flat, speeding past the stands up top. Freight Damage leads for Dan Ader. Now on top by an easy length and a half. First to flush, coming with a rush. Here's Mountain Elvin to join the fray on the outside. Along the rail, nearest the rail, that's still Freight Damage on top. Mountain Elvin right alongside in second. Kicking on from third, Bonjour. After that, One Step at a Time in Millcap. Gap of 2 lengths as they hit the half-mile pole. Jersey Breeze up on the outside. Dancing Tricks, and the trailer is Clearwater Chip. 56 and 3 up the backstretch. Bouncing right along by an easy length and a half. Freight Damage, Mountain Elvin getting pressured on the outside. Bonjour fighting back along the rail, third. One Step at a Time, fourth. Millcap is up on the outside. Dancing Tricks with a big move from the back of the pack. Jersey Breeze, the long shot, and Clearwater Chip wide open here as they move into 3/4 in 1:26. Flying around the far turn. From the outside, here comes Dancing Tricks to get the lead. Dancing Tricks, Freight Damage giving way. Up on the far outside, Bonjour, One Step at a Time. Nearest the rail, Jersey Breeze, the one Millcap can't go on. Clearwater Chip on the far outside, and Mountain Elvin went a tough one. Moving through the stretch, it's all the Hawkster and Dancing Tricks. It's Dancing Tricks. Very tight, Bonjour and Freight Damage. Here's Dave Hawk and Dancing Tricks, 7-year-old bay gelding by Abercrombie out of Manhart Black Magic. Owned in Zanesville by Brent Davis, trained by Roy Mack Davis, driven by Dave Hawk. 156, 7 Dancing Tricks the winner. Here's a field for the 8th race tonight. Number 1, Grand Debonair, owned by Jerry Grant. Elliott Deaton drives. 2, Fax Line, owned by Betty Beatty and Mary Reaney with Sandy Beatty. 3, Brass Yankee, owned by Wayne Koblenz and Wesley Hirschberger, and the driver is Jeff Fout. 4, Rosemont Graduate, owned by Ruth Altmeyer. Dave Rankin will be aboard. 5, Stormy Wisdom with the White Creek Stable. Chip Noble in the bike. 6, Self-Imposed, owned and driven by Al Gobble. 7 is Crown Time Clipper, owned by Esther Crownover, driven by Jim Daly. And 8 is Night Manager, owned by Barbara Hughes and James Deagle. David Myers will be in the sulky. 6 minutes till post time. Happy Kanama. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and trotting. Rosemont Graduate takes the lead. Self-Imposed between horses. Grand Debonair along the rail. Here's Night Manager up on the far outside. Brash Yankee in between horses, Fax Line, followed up by Stormy Wiz and the 7 Crown Time Clipper. Pretty good tussle here as they trot to the first turn. Rosemont Graduate, Night Manager being sent and sent hard. Toward the rail, Self-Imposed. After that, Grand Debonair. Whoa, 28-1 for these trotters. As they move past the stands, Night Manager on the outside, brushes to the front. Night Manager is there by 2. After that, the early trot setter, Rosemont Graduate. Self-Imposed. After that, Grand Debonair. Here's Brash Yankee up on the outside. Stormy Wiz from the back with a rush. Fax Line is now 7th along the rail. 8th and last, it's Crown Time Clipper. They're at the half-mile pole. Still in command, Night Manager. Stormy Wiz with a big move on the outside. And they're at the half at a solid 58-4 up the backstretch. Night Manager a length and a half. Stormy Wiz on the prowl to second. Rosemont Graduate third. Brash Yankee coming on between horses fourth. Followed by Self-Imposed in fifth. Grand Debonair sixth. Fax Line between horses seventh. Crown Time Clipper is eighth on the outside. Night Manager is rolling right along. Night Manager, Stormy Wiz prompting in second. The pocket sitter, Rosemont Graduate. 128-3. They'll trot the turn and come on home. Night Manager by a neck. Breathing down his neck. Stormy Wiz on the outside. Rosemont Graduate along the rail. Angling to the middle of the racetrack. Crown Time Clipper trotting through the stretch. Night Manager, Stormy Wiz on the outside. Rosemont Graduate along the rail. Driving finish in here. Rosemont Graduate gets the lead. For Rosemont Graduate, 3-year-old brown colt by Sierra Cosmos out of Keystone, Paulina. Owned in Washington, PA by Ruth Altmeyer. Ran and trained by Dave Rankin. Covering them out here in 158-2, taking a lifetime best. Number 4, Rosemont Graduate, the winner of tonight's 8th race. 12 till post. David Miller to drive the 3 at a Energizer. Scratch the 4, Enchanted Mirage. Jeff Fout to drive the 6, My Boy Scooter. Post time in 12 minutes. Here comes the field for tonight's 9th race. 7 till post. 1 Manard Quick Start, leased by Ray Kenny. Dave Hawk drives. 2 Big Sky Country, owned by David Cooper with Bob Harper. 3 At a Energizer, owned by Randy White with a driver change to David Miller. 4 has been scratched. 5 Don't Try This at Home, owned by Eric and Brenda Peepus with Randy Tharps. Number 6 My Boy Scooter, owned by Everett and Fayetta Patrick. Late driver change to Jeff Fout. 7 Chip Champ, owned by Ken Briggs with Sandy Beatty. 8 Arctic Experience, owned by Howard Millington. Mike Wilder is in the sulky. 6 minutes till post time. And there they go. They're off and pacing at a Energizer. Manard Quick Start out for the lead. My Boy Scooter on the far outside. Arctic Experience, followed by Big Sky Country. Don't Try This at Home. And the trailer midway on the turn. Chip Champ. 3 of them are fanned out for the lead. Manard Quick Start living up to his name right now. Has been joined by Arctic Experience up on the outside. Tucked in there third and an Energizer. My Boy Scooter settled in there fourth. 27-3. Flying past the stands to the half-mile pole. Up top, 3 parts to the length. Arctic Experience back on the attack, but now settling down along the rail once again. Manart Quick Start, the even money favorite at a Energizer, saving ground third. My Boy Scooter, here comes Don't Try This at Home. Big Sky Country, and at the end it's Chip Champ, ready to put his cards on the table there at the half-mile pole. Still in command in 57-1, Arctic Experience leads the way. Here's Zeta Energizer on the outside. We'll see if he can keep going and going and going. Manart Quick Start is now shuffled back to the pocket in third. Don't Try This at Home, fourth up on the outside. He's got live cover. Nearest the rail, My Boy Scooter, followed by Chip Champ and Big Sky Country. Etta Energizer gets the lead. Racing by 3/4 in 1:26.3. Around the far turn, Etta Energizer on top by a half a length. Don't Try This at Home, line him up on the outside second. Shaking free again, Manart Quick Start on the far outside. My Boy Scooter, we're down to 4. Inside the final 16th of a mile, Etta Energizer, Don't Try This at Home. Manart Quick Start is off, strut on the rail. My Boy Scooter on the far outside. Don't Try This at Home. My Boy Scooter second, Etta Energizer third. A 6-year-old bay son of Kentucky Spur out of Extra Duck, owned by Eric and Brenda Peepus of Bedford, Ohio, trained by Beverly Clark, hard driven tonight by Randy Tharps to cover the mile here in 1:56.5. Don't Try This at Home, the winner. 5-6 exacta, $56.80, $56.80 in the try, $194.20. Out onto the track, number 1 is Old Bullet, owned by Kevin Manley, driven by Jim Daly. 2, Sly Dave, owned by Jerry Grant and driver Elliot Deaton. 3 is Meadowland Freedom, owned by Tamara Hooler and Mike Metters, and the reinsman is Randy Tharps. 4, Wahoo Sabra, owned by Molly Bush, Jay Kaltenbach, Woody Woodward, and Scott Mogan, driven tonight by David Miller. 5 is Fantastic Joe, owned by James Hazelwood, driver Jeff Fout. 6, King Lear, owned by cousin Robert Burns with Sandy Beatty. Number 7, Big Twister, owned by B.L. Conway, Roger Cullifer, and Bobby Logsden with Mark Evers. Number 8 is Winsome Winner, owned by Marlon and Lori Smith with a driver change to Burke Lyons. 9, Bruz Scratch 10, Sodbuster, owned by John Cooper. David Myers will be in the sulky. 6 minutes till post. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Meadowland Freedom between horses takes the lead. Wahoo Sabra with a rush. Old Bullet along the rail. King Lear is up on the outside. Fantastic Joe coming on between horses 5th. Big Twister 3 deep 6th out of the second tier. Sodbuster 7th. Sly Dave is in the 8th. Winsome Winner is the trailer as they drive to the quarter-mile pole, and Wahoo Sabra looking pretty good in the first quarter. Zings them by there in a solid 28 1/5. No change past the stands to the half-mile pole. Up top, it's Wahoo Sabra. Here comes Old Bullet under an all-out drive to second. Meadowland Freedom is in the third, followed by King Lear 4th. Sodbuster is underway. Toward the rail, Fantastic Joe. Next in line, Sly Dave. Big Twister and Winsome Winner can't keep up. They're at the half-mile pole. Old Bullet secures the top. With a rush on the outside, Meadowland Freedom, 58 1. They're out of the turn and down the backstretch. Old Bullet on top by a length. Meadowland Freedom is up on the outside second. Wahoo Sabra skimming the rail third. King Lear coming on between horses 4th. Fantastic Joe 5th. Driving up on the outside from the second tier, Sodbuster. Big Twister's now caught him again. Sly Dave and far back to long shot Winsome Winner. down to 8, and they're all in with a shot here, 127-3. Around the far turn, Meadow and Freedom by a nose. Old Bullet is fighting back. Sodbuster 3 deep off cover. Wahoo Sabra waits for the passing lane. King Lear is in the center. Big Twister on the far outside. Sly Dave in tight quarters, absolutely wide open. Here comes Sly Dave with a rush. Old Bullet, Sly Dave. Sly Dave now gets the lead. Here's Elliott Deaton and a double for him tonight. Winner of the 2, Sly Dave. 4-year-old Brown Gelding by Kawartha Skipper out of My Fair Butler. Out in Pleasant Plain by trainer Jerry Grant. Winning driver Elliott Deaton, the mile 158 and the lifetime best.